the devoted pilgrims visit, responding to Abraham's call at the chosen time limit, uncovering the
وأذن في الناس بالحج يأتوك رجالا وعلى كل ضامر يأتين من كل فج عميق.
What's going on here?
There is some information center. If they have a map, maybe they have a road map and guide everything. It's a scout.
Maybe they are sharing food. Why don't you think so? Maybe the men are on the right, the women are on the left over here.
Yes.
Elderly.
The other side is the left side is the men and the right is the women.
Yeah, we do ask them. Yeah. Sorry?
What's happening here, brother?
I'm asking you. I don't know. Where are you from?
I'm from the UK, brother.
What city?
Coventry.
Really?
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
First time in Makkah?
Where are you from?
Oh, from Ghana. From Ghana.
MashaAllah, brother.
Okay, mashallah. Canada. Toronto, Canada.
Yes. I'm South Africa as well. What area in South Africa, brother?
Okay, it says right here, Scouts, Saudi Arabia. I think it has something to do with some sort of Boy Scouts club kind of thing. This is information. Okay, let's go to the men's section and ask something and find out. It's very crowded. The line is going around. Look at this line here.
And for the most important place in Mecca, okay? This is what you find with them, you get it? Okay?
That's when you get lost, you can find your way around. Yes, the haram.
Yeah, this is what you find. Try to explain that this is what you find they're giving. They're giving water, cold water, cold juices, they're giving this map.
So if you look here, yellow here corresponds to hotels, right? Main roads is the red. There's a legend, this is a legend, right? And they're also being given water, snacks, right? Like cookies and dates and things like that, and umbrellas because of the heat and the sun. They're being
That's
given.
the one man said Shamsiya.
Yeah, exactly. At first we were really confused. We didn't know what was going on. We saw a large crowd of both men and women gathered around this tent, it seems like. Once we got inside and we got to speak to them, we realized it was a Boy Scout, a Saudi organization for the youth, teenagers. And what they do daily during these blessed days is that they help the pilgrims. They give them things like water, snacks. They give them umbrellas. That was a really hot item. They were literally fighting over that. It was, if I could summarize it in one word, I would say intense. It was very stressful. I mean, these kids, we all reward them. I found it very difficult to do just for a few minutes. They do it hours on end every single day. May Allah reward them and all the people who contributed to such a project. Saudi Arabia Scouts organization, as I believe it's called.
Assalamu alaikum. In Mecca, there are many people who devote their whole life for serving Allah and serving the pilgrims of Allah. Today we're going to meet one of them. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. This is a brother, Asam bin Hadi al-Barakat. He's from the people, from the descendancy of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's in charge of a program here in which he gets the people from this area to serve the pilgrims who come. They give them food, they give them dates, they invite them to their houses, they serve them. It's an excellent program. Allah Jalla khair, Allah reward him, inshallah.
My name is Brother Abdullah Harun. What's your good name?
My name is Matar Al-Otaymi. I'm from the Red Crescent Authority.
Matar,
Yeah,
like
Matar.
the rain.
Yes, like
That's
the rain.
very
Yeah.
good. That's
Thank
very
you.
good.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, our dear viewers. We are here at one of the offices of the Red Crescent in this blessed city of Mecca, and we're going to talk to our brother Matar, who's going to talk to us about their mission, what exactly they do here. What is the Red Crescent?
The Red Crescent is authority to serve the medical service. Yeah, as ambulance, ambulance and medical fly. We have doctors and paramedics and EMTs, technician. And
Yeah, when we were coming here, we saw some helicopters as well. Are those helicopters part of the Red Crescent?
yeah. There is for the Hajj season. There is some. The number is 7 helicopters.
Okay.
There is a helibase here. We sit at the same time 3 helicopters.
Okay.
For critical case, we transport the patient. During the day for Arafat, we transport the patient to Arafat hospitals or Jabal al-Rahma hospitals, depending on the case.
We call the Red Crescent in French La Croix Rouge. What do you call the Red Crescent in Arabic, just
No.
for our viewers?
Yeah, in Arabic it's called Al-Hilal Al-Ahmar.
Al-Hilal Al-Ahmar.
Yes.
thank you again, Brother Matar. I understand that you have an emergency center here. Tell me what you do there.
Yeah, as we said before, there's 22 in Arafat stations for emergency call, and we can now going to visit some one of the stations to see how they receive the call from the operation center, and to go with the ambulance and to achieve the case with who is calling for the emergency.
Okay, is that where you decide which patient? So from here they go to the emergency center.
Yeah, the key of the start for the call, the emergency is number is 997.
Welcome back again. We're here with our wonderful guide, Matar, and believe it or not, as soon as we came, it started raining, which coincided with his name, Matar, as well. And we're at the emergency center here. It's called the SRCA Center, and we're going to visit it and see exactly what they do here.
Now, there is ambulance that's come from the case. Now just to clean it. We see, yeah, we try to clean it from infections as well. Yeah, now it's good.
عين 2 استلمت.
عين 2 كما أعطانا 23 استلمت.
Assalamu alaikum again, our dear viewers. We have taken you into a journey. At first we started with the Red Crescent office in Arafat, and then we came here to visit the SRCA office. We've received an emergency call, and you have seen how they operated and cooperated very well with one another. You have seen our wonderful guide, Brother Matar, in action, and how he has beautifully explained to us what they do here. Thank you very much, Brother Matar.
It's my pleasure.
Very wonderful job.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
hope
so
to see
much.
you again very soon.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك. By Allah, whose house the devoted pilgrims visit, responding to Abraham's call at the chosen time limit, uncovering their heads in total humility before Allah, to whom faces bow in servility. لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك. He invited and they answered with love and pleasance when they called.
Very joyous moment right now.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And this is the time of happiness for the believers. These are times of celebration. These are times to express happiness, and within it is an act of worship. Is an expression actually of worship and recognition of Allah's favors upon us. And this is interesting. This is interesting that the Prophet Muhammad has specified for us, telling us that the most greatest of days.
Can you please switch on the microphone? Sorry.
My microphone?
Yeah. Is it on? Oh, mine's on here. Can you speak first a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking actually of some messages I received from my family, my wife, and kids, about how they were preparing for the Eid, for the day of Eid, and the paintings and drawings that they did, and they stuck on the wall, and they put some sweets on the table, and they created like a happy kind of environment to celebrate the day, so that the kids become attached to this day as a day where we are grateful for the favors of Allah, and we have joined this day. And at the same time, they've been following the Hajj steps with us.
Nice.
And so they in the state of excitement about what I'm doing and what they're doing on their side. And for me, it's been a very, it's a new experience for me because it's my first Hajj, alhamdulillah. So I'm very happy today.
MashaAllah. That's good.
And from what we've seen before, what Allah has blessed us with, so Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Allah accept from us.
People didn't hear us in the beginning. We were greeting each other with the celebration of Eid.
Definitely.
Again, when we say Eid Mubarak, may Allah make this Eid a blessed Eid
Ameen,
for the Muslims all over the world.
Ameen.
And accept from us, as was the case, the supplication or the reminder, even though in the state of happiness, which Eid really manifests, but the companions of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, their attachment to the hereafter was always apparent. So they used to say to themselves, تقبل الله منا ومنكم صالح الأعمال. May Allah accept from us and you the righteous deeds that Allah has favored us with and guided us towards. So again, Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak to you guys.
To all of you brothers.
Thank you.
All the Muslims out there who are listening and watching. I ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to return this Eid many years to come, because the description Eid really means something that is repeated.
Yes.
Eid is something taken from Ada, or something that is repeated and comes back again and again. So I ask Allah that it repeats itself again and again, and that we experience this season more than many years to come, inshallah, for the sake of Allah.
Ameen. Speaking of celebration Eid, that's him.
Mocha here.
Mocha. Cappuccino. Okay.
This is Mocha, huh?
Thank you so much.
So people who don't know about mocha really comes from Yemen.
Thank you.
Jazakallah khair.
I didn't order black
Comes from Yemen originally.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
You can mute.
If it's not mute, then it's the battery is closed or something.
No, it's not mute. It's good. On. No battery?
So we're having slight technical difficulties, but inshallah we'll fix.
Which happens with reality TV.
All the time.
I mean,
all the time. But that's okay. That won't stop us from celebrating. And alhamdulillah, we're very excited.
I had my coffee.
Oh, you don't?
I don't want to have another one right now.
You don't want coffee?
Alhamdulillah, one was enough for now.
This is too hot right now.
Can you hear me now? Testing 1, 2, 3.
I don't know. They're not responding yet. Can you ask them to keep in touch with us? So okay. So I was very happy to. I really wish that the audience at home could have heard what our Sheikh said. Sheikh Umar al-Juhni.
I'll remain silent and drink my coffee.
Okay.
Well, it reminds me of a lesson I heard from another Sheikh about the same point, that the meaning of Eid is it returns.
From the verb
returns.
Yeah.
And almost like oud.
Oh, interesting.
It has a similar kind of meaning, Sheikh.
Is it like
it has the meaning
the
of
scent?
something that's repetitive, something that comes back.
So I don't know about that, but we do know about that. That's interesting. Okay. Is microphone good? Okay, thank you so much. It's okay. So inshallah, we're going to read some verses from the Quran. We'll pass our time.
Inshallah.
And what's a better way to enjoy Eid than to live in the spirit of Eid? And so what we're going to do is we're going to read ayat. I chose this surah, Surah Yunus.
MashaAllah.
And I chose these verses because they have to do, they deal with celebration, having fun, enjoying life, especially, and the context of the verse actually is enjoying the Quran. The Quran is a gift to you, to all of us as Muslimin. So these ayat basically are saying celebrate the Quran, celebrate this. So obviously within celebration comes the idea of Eid, because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that we as Muslims, we have two Eidain, we have two Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. And after that, apart from that, we have the Fridays, right? Friday, every
special kind of weekly Eid.
Weekly Eid, which is amazing how Muslims we celebrate.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Muslims we celebrate an Eid literally every one day of the week.
A blessing from Allah.
Exactly. So now that we've sorted out the microphone problems, can you please explain to us one more time, I'm so sorry, about the about what is Eid, what is the celebration of Eid, and what are we supposed to say during Eid?
طيب الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبعد. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the especially merciful, we invoke the peace and the blessings of Allah upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon his family, his companions, and all those who follow in their path until Allah inherits this earth and everything on it. Furthermore, Akhi, the time of Eid, the concept of Eid, may Allah Azza wa Jal accept from us we're guided through the favors and the guidance of Allah Azza wa Jal in the past days and the coming days, inshallah. And we mentioned earlier that amongst the greetings and the celebrations or the congratulations that the companions used to give to one another, which indicated their attachment and their mindset always attached to the hereafter. They used to say to one another, تقبل الله منا ومنكم صالح الأعمال. May Allah accept from you and I the righteous deeds, which is really a supplication that indicates the happiness, the joy, but at the same time remaining attached to the purpose of their existence, and that is the return back to Allah. And this, as many scholars have said, this is amongst the adat, which is a habit to congratulate one another of these celebrations. Not necessarily related to ibadat, worships, even though if the intention, inshallah, is for the sake of Allah, it rises to the level of being ibadah, worshipping Allah. So even if we say, Eidukum Sa'id, may Allah give you a happy Eid, or say maybe Eid Mubarak, another well-set supplication, may Allah bless your Eid. All of this is, alhamdulillah, good, and this is part of the happiness that we experience. Of course, we, the Hujjaj, the people who are in Mecca performing Hajj, we've been through the experience of this, walking, journeying from one place to another. So maybe the happiness hasn't shown on us yet.
Not yet, but it will.
We're happy,
we promise.
We're very, very joyful, alhamdulillah. But I think we've been exhausted the past few days, so maybe this is why we're kind of calm a little bit. However, all Muslims, inshallah, in these times are in a state of joy.
Definitely. And one of the topics we have, which we're going to mention, inshallah, after the recitation of the Quran. Okay, so inshallah, the Shaykh will come back and visit us. While the Shaykh
I was just thinking what Shaykh was saying.
Yeah, okay.
That Shaykh was saying maybe our happiness is not, we're feeling a bit tired.
Definitely.
We've been engaged in some
slightly,
not extremely tiring, because alhamdulillah the Hajj has been made so easy for us.
Nowadays, especially.
I was just thinking what it would have been like to perform these manasik without any boat structures or automated transportation or these type of things.
Tell me about it.
It would be many times more difficult. So it's been easy.
Definitely.
But having completed some of these, especially the day of Arafah, you may not be in a state of happiness where you are exclaiming, laughing, but more in a contemplative kind of sense.
It's a serenity in your
inner kind of happiness, and like you've cleared out some heavy burdens.
Definitely.
And you have this feeling of just being at rest. That's a little bit tired, but content with where you are right now.
That's so true. We all are Hujjaj. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alaikum assalam wa
Let me
rahmatullahi.
try this one more time. The audio.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Should I repeat what I said earlier?
Yeah, the more we hear it, the more we get experts. We become experts in it.
Furthermore, I begin by saying, may Allah accept our deeds, your deeds,
Ameen.
and forgive us our shortcomings, and make this Eid a happy Eid, and make this Eid a blessed Eid. And we mentioned earlier that amongst the methods of the companions when they meet one another in Eid, they would supplicate, and this would indicate really their attachment to Allah Azza wa Jal, to the final day.
So it's okay, we'll continue off. We'll continue where we left off. I think now we can do it to tilawah.
Inshallah. I was actually looking forward to listening to you.
Jazakallah khairah, thank you so much.
Which verses are you going to be recited?
So these verses are from Surah Yunus, and they deal with celebration. They're about towards the end of Surah Yunus. Okay, so I'll start in Arabic and then read translation, and you can take the floor and talk about Arafah, I think. Arafat, if you want to, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ألا إن لله ما في السماوات والأرض ألا إن وعد الله حق ولكن أكثرهم لا يعلمون. هو يحيي ويميت وإليه ترجعون. يا أيها الناس قد جاء وهدى ورحمة للمؤمنين. قل بفضل الله وبرحمته فبذلك فليفرحوا هو خير مما يجمعون. قل أرأيتم ما أنزل الله لكم من رزق فجعلتم منه حراما وحلالا قل الله أذن لكم أم على الله تفترون. وما ظن الذين يفترون على الله الكذب يوم القيامة إن الله لذو فضل على الناس ولكن أكثرهم لا يشكرون. جزاكم الله خيرا.
Jazakallah khair.
وإياك. And now we're going to read the meaning of these ayat. So I have with me what translation is it? Sahih International. I think that's good. Okay. ألا إن لله ما في السماوات والأرض. Unquestionably to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and the earth. Unquestionably the promise of Allah is truth, but most of them do not know.
That's why it sounds so important from Qudsi.
Not
make us from the people, but it's first thing you must know. You must take the time to look to your heart and be honest with yourself. You know? Same thing we say to the people that are not Muslim. When you speak about Islam, give yourself the time. Don't judge quickly. Be patient. Give yourself the time. Think about what we are saying about Islam, and give yourself timing and be honest with yourself. Then you will figure it out. In the end, it's the truth. You know what I mean? Yeah. Same thing. We all also with each other, with each other. I mean with ourselves. And مثلا disease like how you said it, ignorance, nose in the sky.
Oh, arrogance.
Arrogance.
Yeah.
Maybe someone say.
Very deep verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us directly. So the verses that I wanted to highlight were the ones that dealt with celebration. قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ For this, فَلْيَفْرَحُوا Then let them enjoy, let them have fun. هُوَ خَيْرٌ مِمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a miraculous book that nothing in the world, no poetry, no music, nothing on planet Earth or anywhere in the universe. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala previously said, أَلَا إِنَّ لِلَّهِ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ Everything in the universe and earth, nothing can compare to this book that we have, the Quran. And you know, all these later books that we have, in fact, let's just take a look at this book right here. This is, what is it? في علوم القرآن. It's something, 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 في علوم القرآن. I have my glasses on, but I can't read. So, you can take it if you want to, go ahead. You have one there too. So, في علوم القرآن. There's a whole science behind Quran. Can you believe that? A whole subject that's taught in universities, and the university I studied, Al-Quran University, we literally have Ulum al-Quran 1, 2, 3, 4, semester after semester after semester, just the sciences of Quran. And this doesn't even deal with the actual tafsir or like delving into the meaning of the Quran. Ulum al-Quran just deals with which verses were revealed in Mecca, which were revealed in Medina, which are nasikh, mansukh,
how we should actually go about approaching the Quran.
Exactly.
How do we understand the verses? How do we read it?
And exactly, and that itself takes 4 years, 1 semester, every school year, 1 semester, and you still don't get all of ulum al-Quran.
That's just the basic knowledge.
So God is saying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, this gift that I gave you guys, فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. For this enjoy, and have fun. This Quran and this Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam of ours, he is the one who taught us Eid. He is the one who brought us the message, who worked so hard to bring us this day that we have today. So now, alhamdulillah, we have the ability to enjoy this day, to have our own culture, to have our own connection to God and enjoy. You know, and not feel ashamed about, you know, some people have the Catholic guilt or the Jewish guilt. Well, alhamdulillah, there is no Muslim guilt.
Yes.
We have the فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا, to be enjoyed, to have fun. You can take it from there.
SubhanAllah. Actually, there's another verse in what you recited that struck me even more profoundly, and it connects with this celebration, in a sense, and it connects with what you're saying, is that Allah says there is healing for what is in the chest, in the breast, in our hearts. And it reminded me of the day of Arafah.
Okay.
And it reminded me of my state as a non-Muslim before. All of this just happened right now while you was. I was just thinking about these things.
It's amazing.
And like I was saying to you, we in the state after Arafah and after doing some of these manasik, where your energy is slightly lower, but you have this sense of contentment that you've reached out to Allah. Before, as a non-Muslim, and leading up to embracing Islam, I had this feeling within myself, very deep within myself, that there was something missing here. And the way I can describe it visually, because I'm a designer, I speak in pictures, is like there was a deep pit inside of myself. And I was at the bottom of the pit, shouting, trying to surface, trying to get out of this dark place, and it was empty, very dark, and yearning for something. SubhanAllah. And yesterday in Arafah, jumping all these years forward, I went to try to find a place away from the people that I know, not to be speaking and not to be doing anything that they may be looking, and just to escape in the crowd. So I walked from the camp where we were staying, I walked up the streets and joined the flow of people moving towards the center of Arafah.
You became one in a
And I started making some adhkar. And you know, you try to get yourself into the mood of dua, because dua you need to repeat many times to really reach that sincere point of. And I found a quiet place, and I started making some dua, and subhanallah, the place where I reached was where I was trying to empty out all these worries and all these feelings of guilt and all these burdens to Allah, to ask Allah to relieve me of these things, because I've done so many things, said so many things, and
it's emotional.
Trying to, Allah is the only one that can deal with these things, these challenges we have within ourselves. Sure. So we have to open ourselves up.
Yes.
And after going through that experience, it was for me very, very deep kind of very happy kind of experience, but with tears and all that comes with it.
It's tears of happiness and tears of getting closer to God.
Yes.
To Allah Azza wa Jal.
So the feeling that we have, this joyful feeling, it's not the same for me right now as somebody who just got a check of $1 million, and he's laughing and he's thinking of all the things he's going to buy. It's even more than that. It's, I've reached out to Allah, and I know Allah promises that He will answer these du'as and forgive us.
That's amazing.
And because for so many years you're carrying all this with you, and you are asking Allah to forgive you. But this is a special, real special. It's not like tahajjud, the du'a into tahajjud.
It's not.
It's not like the du'a you make. I mean, it comes close in some ways, some of the feelings. not like the du'as you make during Taraweeh, when the Imam reads the Qunut and everyone cries in the Laylatul Qadr.
It's not like that.
It goes right to the very core of what you are. You have to strip away everything, and Allah actually forces us to do this. We're not allowed to cover ourselves.
Exactly.
We come just wearing these cloths, and you have no way to stand out in the crowd.
You hit the nail on the head.
You have to be almost nothing. Just one of the grains of sand.
One of the white specks among the hundreds
floating
and
around.
thousands.
And for me, that was really one of the best moments of so far up till today. The Hajj is disappearing, in a sense, and being able to get rid of all these layers that we put on top to prevent us from connecting with Allah in a really deep and meaningful way, and to be honest with ourselves and to be sincere with Allah, what state we are in.
Yeah.
You know, because we're all traveling, trying to strive, but we're failing continuously.
Definitely.
And Allah knows that, but we don't express that to Allah. Oh Allah, you know, I've tried, but it's very difficult for me.
Exactly.
I'm failing all the time. Please forgive me, strengthen me.
Yeah. That's amazing. And
so
I really highlighted one thing which really struck me was how you differentiated between the dua of tahajjud, the dua that you did in Arafat, and the dua that you do in Witr and Taraweeh. So if I could just touch base on that really quickly. In tahajjud, when you're all alone at night, no one's watching you. You're all alone in your bedroom, or you know, in your living room, and no one's watching, and you're just praying all by yourself and crying your heart out and just reciting the verses of Allah Azza wa Jal. And you know, you're contemplating on the meaning you're doing your dua adiyya in sujood, when you go to sajda. That has a spirit in and of itself, a very special spirit. And then the Taraweeh and Witr, it's more joined with other people.
Yes.
You're all together, they're crying, you're crying because of their crying, it kind of moves you.
Yes.
And then you have the Imam who's, you know, reading in a style that's just pounding and pounding and pounding on your heart, because, you know, the heart sometimes is like a hard wall, it just breaks it.
And the Quran strips away those layers once
Exactly.
we listen to it and we really contemplate.
It does, it does. And then here's the interesting is about Arafat, it combines tahajjud's privacy somehow, because of, I guess because of the clothes and the, like you said, ihram.
It does.
And then it combines the witr, the emotional, you know, you with a whole bunch of other musallin of Taraweeh, and adds another thing which you mentioned to that, which is the fact that you're tired, you know, you traveled all of this distance, you kind of, it's like kind of, I guess we can say it's kind of representing your journey in life. You reach, you know, you're toiling through life. You're going from one step to the next step to the next step. You're just watching your life go in front of you. And so Hajj kind of, you know, you're manifesting that, and you're walking, your legs are tired, your feet are swollen. So many problems that people who haven't done Hajj, by the way, this sounds terrible, but each of the pain that we feel, it's not that crazy, first of all, it's not that like unbearable. But these small things remind us of how weak human beings are.
Yes.
And they increase our iman. Like, I don't want to talk about myself, it's kind of weird, but like I had a really swollen toe. My foot was, even till now, it's hurting. But yet I was able to do so much. I was able to do so much with that during Hajj that if it wasn't Hajj season, I'd be laying in bed. I wouldn't be doing anything. But Hajj has its own energy, and that's why that Arafat, that dua that you mentioned, is so moving. The way you described it, mashallah, barakallahu feek.
Allah accept all our du'as.
Ameen, ameen. And if you had this spirit to Arafat,
I believe they're going to Mina, right? They're going to Mina because on the, is it the 10th today? So the 10th, the 8th is the day of Tarwiyah. Tarwiyah, it's sunnah to be in Mina, correct? The 9th, you go to Arafah.
Okay.
After Arafah, you go to Muzdalifah. And it gets confusing. You know why it gets confusing? Because in the Islamic calendar, the night comes before the day. That's why Westerners get confused sometimes. So right now, it's what time is it right now? Like
It's still the day 10 days still.
Oh my God, I almost dropped my phone.
Maghrib will be the 11th.
Exactly, so today is today's the 11th.
No, still not. If we make 11th,
You're right.
Maghrib, we go
Good, exactly. So it's 5:40. So in less than an hour, Maghrib, we're going to enter the 11th.
The first night of 11th.
Yes, yeah. There's only one night of every day.
The first part of the day.
Yes. Exactly. So, the night of the 11th, which is
Tomorrow.
10th night
Tonight.
in the Western culture, everyone has to be in Mina. Yeah, everyone has to be in Mina. Right? And the fuqaha, the scholars of fiqh, they say, I think all four madhab, I think, say mu'lam al-layl, the majority of the night. The majority, we can say for sure, say that the people have to be
Most of the night.
most of the night. What does most of the night mean? We discussed it already. You take Maghrib. And the Sheikh mentioned, it's very, very, very important for Westerners. They think midnight
12 o'clock.
is 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
English-wise, yes. But in terms of Islamic-wise, no. You take Maghrib and Fajr, say you get 11 hours.
Okay.
Divide that by 2,
Yeah.
you're going to get what? 5.5.
More than 500. Oh, 5.5.
For example, 11 hours, divide that by 2, 5.5. Take the 5.5 and add it to the Maghrib. So sometimes it might be 12:30, it might be 1, it might be 11 something, depending on the season, depending on the country.
That's right.
So the majority of scholars say you have to be in Mina for the majority of the night. So correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of these pilgrims, they're going now to Mina, which is right over there. I don't know if the camera can see it. Right over there, there's tents over there. Very close, but it's a far walk. It looks so close. You know what I mean? But it's
10-minute walk. 10 minutes.
10-minute walk.
We're sleeping while you're walking, bro.
No, I don't know what 10 minutes you're talking about, but
Quickly, 10 minutes.
you mean 60 seconds in a minute? No. So anyways, it's on?
Every day, same problem. So it goes on. I change it when you say something.
Okay.
It's on now.
I think so. Yeah, sorry about that. So they're going to be in Mina for the majority of the night. Now, do most of them? Huh? 1 second. Technical difficulties. Come back.
Oh, it's always with me, huh?
Yeah.
That's right. But I'm joking.
On. I will mute. Good. That could be beneficial.
Sorry about that. So yeah, so they're going to, okay. Now, do the majority of people stay in Mina for the next 3 days, or do they stay part of the night in Mina, then go back to their hotels?
The brothers that have,
Tents in Mina?
in Mina, they will stay there,
For 3 days.
for 2 whole days, or maybe 3 days. But the people that, going illegally, well,
Don't say that.
have no.
Don't encourage that. That's not encouraged, right, brother?
I was speaking about what's happening,
No, it's not about illegal. It's just what happens is there are cheaper groups.
People don't have tents.
Exactly. So people who don't have tents,
they will probably go back to their, fund their hotels.
but people have to understand, why don't people have tents? Some people can afford tents. Some people have cheaper packages, cheaper hamlas, right? And they just don't have a tent.
And also the thing I mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. So now they go to Mina for some part of the night, come back to their hotel,
Okay.
and then the next night. Okay, so now when they sleep in Mina, and then in the morning say they come back, or even after Dhuhr, what do they do next? They go to Jamrat.
Well, basically they're sitting in the night now, and after they've spent the most of the night, the people without tents.
A few of the guys. We're sitting. I didn't bring it out straight away, so we're sitting chatting and stuff and da da da. And the kind of conversation kind of died down a bit, and I said, "Listen, I got you something." And I gave him the prayer mat, and I've seen his face, his mouth just. He just didn't know what to say.
Seriously?
He was like, "Oh my God!" So I can't believe you just. Okay, thanks very much. And alhamdulillah, from that day, started praying.
MashaAllah, seriously?
Yeah, man.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah, he says, listen, now I've got no excuse not to pray.
Not that you have one anyways.
Exactly.
It's just the bad.
And then alhamdulillah, he started working for a local butcher as well, a halal butcher, and distributing all these Islamic leaflets and stuff, So alhamdulillah, man.
Oh, subhanAllah.
So
who would think that something like that will go as far as it went? That's the thing, you know, like when we do what we do, understanding that everything is in Allah's hands. You just got to put it out there and keep an open mind, keep a positive mindset. And if Allah wants to do good for one of His servants, He'll create the means.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll create the means.
Because you never know, when people come into your life, is it going to be as a test or a benefit?
Exactly.
And when it is, either way, later on down the line you see what actually it was for, well, you see the reason why the person was put in your life.
Yeah, and then, sometimes like when I'm talking to like the upper level guys that I have, they feel like out of place because people laugh at them for being serious. People make fun of them. They don't feel. Like it's cool. Like it's acceptable to want to be serious about your studies and things like that. And sometimes they can be a bit antisocial even, because of that. And sometimes, the conversation just goes in a way where they feel comfortable, and they just start, opening up about whatever they might be going through or their personal experiences or something like that. So it's actually a conversation class, and we are conversing, but we can start conversing about personal matters, not very personal, but matters that could move them in one direction or the other, as far as down the good or bad path. And those are the moments actually that I appreciate, because those are the times where I try to slip in and give someone good advice about something, as far as making sure you keep Islam as your guiding light and making sound decisions. Because what tends to happen is guys sometimes think that education is the end-all be-all. Yeah. And because of whatever they may have experienced in their society, it can turn them off from thinking that anything about religion is good. And that's not the case at all. You got good and bad everywhere. Just like, say for instance, I had a bad experience with someone. And in fact, I did have several bad experiences with people when I first embraced Islam. Sometimes in Masajid, people are to themselves. They're not very open to outside cultures and things like that. But I was like, that's them, that's their deal. That's unfortunate. But you just got to keep moving. There's an Islam that's for you, and there's an Islam that's for. There's an aspect for you and an aspect for the community. However, I did see some people that were hurt by that to the point where they just give up. Like, if I have to deal with this outside of Islam, and then Islam is right guidance, but I still have to deal with this, then what's the point? I don't want to practice anything. But I don't think that there's ever an excuse to not do the right thing. No matter, even if you fall off for a period of time, usually we know we're doing something that's wrong,
And yours as well, the friends are around at the same time,
Yeah.
You try to make excuses of all these friends, maybe, I can benefit them, maybe I can benefit them, but then as time goes on, you think, actually, they're affecting me.
Right.
And the table's turning, you think you can help them and maybe increase their iman for the things you say and actions and deeds, but if there's more than one of them.
Yeah, and I think that's a dangerous point, actually. I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of times people feel like I want to save the world. I'm a champion for, dawah. I'm going to go out here. I'm never going to give up. I'm going to call mankind to this message. And that's cool. There's a place for that, but you got to save yourself and your family first, And for me, I look at it like in my close circle, like I have, like it'll be me and you. Like me and you, because we think alike, we're like-minded, we care about Islam and things like that. But I'm not going to have somebody who has weak iman. Alhamdulillah. I'm not going to have somebody who has weak iman or even borderline disbeliever in my personal circle, you know. I can meet him at a public place, maybe for 15, 20 minutes, try to encourage him to do good. But you usually can tell if those people are serious. You start to see like progress and movement. After some.
How are you doing, brother? Alhamdulillah. I was just telling the brother about...
you know, I was really excited. I'm very sorry to cut you off.
Yes.
Actually, go ahead. I'll tell you after. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry.
So, I forgot what we were saying.
We were talking about zadgroup.net, and
yes.
I met Sheikh Saleh Manajid,
yes,
and I asked him if I could get a photo, and he said no. And I felt heartbroken.
Yeah, as far as what I've heard, the Sheikh, he does, mashallah, he does very good work, but he doesn't focus, he tries not to focus on himself, self-promotion, and to direct people's attention towards the knowledge.
This is good, Chuck.
This is one of the things that we should...
No, mashallah, that's great. I respect that. No, but I was just saying from a more community point of view that, mashallah, I got a lot of photos with Immat Haramain,
yes.
the Imams of Masjid al-Haram and Masjid al-Nabawi. Mostly Masjid al-Haram. But Sheikh Saleh Manajid was a little different, you know. God bless him, mashallah. I love him. So zadgroup.net, we did our plugin, technically, right? So what were you talking about? You know, before the show, you were talking to me about professionals that you want.
Yes.
Yep.
SubhanAllah. I mean, for me, like I was saying, I was trying to find work within Islamic activities, and now within the work I do, we are looking for many highly experienced, high quality professionals in our area of focus: media, design, web development, mobile app development, project management, these kind of things. And it's tough, it's difficult to find the right kind of people who also are very eager to apply their knowledge and skills for Islamic purposes. So what I would say to professionals out there is, number one, if you have a skill or some knowledge that Allah has blessed you with, and you have the opportunity to apply it for Islamic means, whether it's the knowledge of Islam or something that benefits the Muslims directly or the Ummah, then you should jump at this opportunity with...
Definitely.
Obviously, every service, good service, adds value and benefits humanity.
Sure.
But we need people to focus on that Islamic benefit that we need so dearly.
Sure.
So if anyone out there, designers, developers, project managers, are interested in this kind of thing, they can contact me.
How do they contact you?
Noor, N-U-R.
N-U-R.
At zadgroup.
At
Z-A-D.
Z-A-D. There you go.
Group.net.
Group.net. Thank you
We're
so
looking
much.
for people who have good skills to help us to educate Muslims, to benefit Muslims.
So guys, you got that Noor at Z-A-D, Group.net. What does that mean? To increase, more?
Increase, yes.
Provisions.
Yes.
Provisions.
Ziyada.
Pretty cool.
Zad al-Ma'ad, right?
Zad al-Ma'ad, yep.
That's provisions for the hereafter.
Yep. So that's great.
How are you feeling, brother?
Be more specific.
As a person that has been on Hajj, a Muslim that's on
Are you?
Hajj,
Well, let's ask him this: are you fatigued? Because naturally, there's fatigue that comes with Hajj.
Fatigue is an understatement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We spoke about that. And do you feel refreshed, which is obviously given?
You're feeling a bit sick.
I mean, one question at a time. Hold on. Do I feel relieved?
No, spiritually refreshed, or what did you get out of Hajj? Something positive?
Yeah, because it's not finished yet.
Sure. Okay.
Right? I don't think I can say I am yet. Like I feel like we're about halfway done. Not even in terms of days, but just the wuquf, Mina, and staying in Mina, and the tawaf. I don't know if you guys did tawaf. You did it?
Only in the Umrah before.
No, I'm saying now, like
no, not yet.
Some of the guys went and did tawaf al-ifada, but I'm saying like, tawaf is going to be busy. Then you have the sa'i. For me personally, sa'i is like longer. I don't know why. So the point is like there's still a lot more to do. But
Inshallah, may Allah make it easy for you.
I mean.
There's so much benefit we take out of this, and for a few days we have some effort, but the reward after this effort, it goes so beyond the little effort that we put in. So So what have you brought us, brother? I see you came with some papers.
No, they were already here actually,
Okay.
behind me. It was just something I was reading, and
Something I've been reading in the past few days, yeah.
Can you tell us about?
No, I can't. I'm actually not authorized. I'm kidding.
Okay, so we're gonna, sorry to interrupt you guys, we're gonna have a guest shortly, my doctor told me, Dr. Umar. And when he comes here, we're gonna take him over to the to that sofa over there. Actually, it was supposed to be like a cool thing, like he enters in and I'd be like, oh, hey, let's go to a more wider place and this and that.
So if it's live now,
It is live. But I gave it away. But we're waiting for the sheikh to come. So, I mean, it still has the cool value. Like, oh, look, he enters in. Wait, they get...
You're a bad actor.
We can learn a few things from the brother in terms of his
Honestly.
reality TV, blatant, straightforward.
It's not acting. It's not acting. I mean, you know, I like honesty. And I think if we're more honest to them, they're going to get a good laugh out of it.
Yeah, sure.
They're going to be like, Huda TV, a light in every home.
Is that the slogan here?
Yeah, you didn't know that.
A light in every home?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, a light in every home, right?
A light in every home. How would you say that in Arabic? Let's wait. So our brother, Dili, is really great in the Arabic language, mashallah. Stop, man. Stop. Come on, they're bored of the whole humble thing. Wallahi, brother, I'm not very good. Wallahi, brother, I'm not good. we need to cut to the chase and just forget all this.
Really, man.
Well, you studied Arabic. You're better than me. Remember, you said
I studied French as well. I can't even order food in French.
Okay, what does it say?
Hold on. Let me first get him on this. You corrected. You made fun of me when we were outside right there in Arafat, and I didn't understand. كذكركم آباءكم. How I said that. Yeah, but I didn't understand why it was mansub. So, Mr. I'm an expert in Arabic.
That's basic Arabic.
He's calling out this.
My mom and dad are watching, and they're gonna say that we sent you the mahad for 2 years and you didn't learn anything.
Oh, style.
It's not basic Arabic, dude.
May Allah help us.
What was
the question again?
I'm completely out of this conversation.
No, here, Sheikh.
No, I don't know any.
Did you hear what he was saying? Like a while back, we went full spiritual. I mean, I think the people at home are like they have tissues everywhere and they're crying. And they're literally.
Actually, I'm a bit of an emotional person. So.
Sheikh Salah, you know Sheikh Salah al-Badir?
No, I don't.
The Imam of the
Masjid al-Nabawi. Amazing. So what happens is he reads normally. He reads in a style that's known as, you know, like Sudais and Shuraim. But then he takes it up a notch when he reads an ayah that is more emotional.
Deep.
Yeah, and he repeats it and repeats it and repeats it and pounds at your heart.
Yes.
And then finally, you know, you just break, you start crying. So you remind me of Sheikh Salah al-Badir. I wouldn't say like Sheikh, there are some of the Mashaykh that just say keep crying and crying. Sheikh Adil Kalbani, once he starts crying, you can't stop him. He was, the first year he led, it was Surah Al-Haqqa he led.
Yes.
And it was, you remember that?
No, I'm just, the surah itself.
Oh, the surah, yes. The surah itself. But so, ما أغنى عني مالية هلك عني سلطانية خذوه فغلوه. No, that wasn't in Masjid al-Haram side. That was before he came to Masjid al-Haram, back when he was leading in Riyadh. So he read those ayat and he خذوه فغلوه. He was just crying. He went into falsetto and started crying and crying and crying, and it was subhanAllah. But his type of crying, you know, even the Mashaykh, when you look at the way they cry, it differs. And it shows a different color of taqwa.
The thing is, some...
Is your microphone muted?
And then I'll call you.
Is your microphone muted?
Yes, it was, yes.
Okay, good. You want to unmute it?
I did. I already did. I'm so swift. I already did. You didn't.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Very swift. Okay, good.
We're not live.
I don't think we
Yeah, we're live. Why not?
No, because other people talking.
Oh, that doesn't happen?
So I think he's pulling the wool over...
He's what?
Over our faces here.
Yeah, no, he's going to try to make us do something silly and...
And think that we're live and then we're not live?
Yeah, and then we're going to...
Are you playing with us?
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. But the point is, what was your question?
My question was...
I forgot as well.
Ahsant. Wow. Pretty good.
Even the way people say that, like, oh, my question was... And
yes.
Thinking. They're thinking, and then I know they forgot.
Yes.
I got a text message. Eid Mubarak. I hope you had a good trip, inshallah. So basically, since we're not live, I might as well talk about myself. I had a trip from...
myself. Look at the arrogance.
Yeah, conceited.
Conceited.
Yeah, okay. So the thing was, I flew in from New York to, what's it called, Mecca, to Jeddah.
So who asked you this?
No one asked me this. I'm just going to...
By the way, Salman's coming back tomorrow night.
Really? MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Can we hang out, all three of us?
I don't know if you're invited, but...
Ouch. Ouch. I hope this is live TV because it's good entertainment. The people at Huda TV, they're like, come on, watch. There's some guy who's getting roasted. All right. So let's shaking things up a little bit here. Alhamdulillah. So what is the name of this episode?
Which episode?
The one we're doing right now.
Is this an episode?
What do you mean to the majlis?
No, Sheikh. Okay, so the Sheikh is going to come. Dr. Jamal.
Oh, this is.
Never seen him in
the Sheikh.
education.
Oh, mashallah. Very interesting person.
Okay, so listen here up, guys. So the thing is, Dr. Jamal is going to come and say Assalamu alaikum. We're supposed to act like, oh wow, he just entered. Hey, Assalamu alaikum. How are you? Not enough room here. Let's go there.
You guys are just hanging there and chilling out, right?
Exactly.
Mashallah.
How are you? Yeah, I love that. My brother saw you last night.
Where?
Well, he's in Syracuse. He went on live and he was like, I didn't like you so much. I like the guy next to you. No, he didn't say that. I'm joking. But he said he really enjoyed your. Oh my God, what is this?
MashaAllah.
I think they're getting ready for Eid over there.
Eid Mubarak, Hajj Mubarak.
Hajj Mubarak, Hajj Mabrur, inshallah.
Sa'i mashkur, Dam maghfur, inshallah. Everyone have a seat, please.
Inshallah.
I'm digging your thobe, mashallah.
Yeah. That's what everybody's saying. They're like, I said, it's uniquely made.
Yeah. Oh, you tailored it, mashallah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I have this thing with
so if it's disconnected.
always white. I like white, but
Let's
not
shake it
all
up a
the
little
time.
bit. Change it up a little bit, definitely.
You know what's scary? You know those Moroccan thobes that have the hoods?
Oh.
When they come in white, and you see guys in Canada wearing that, I'm like, brother, what are you doing wearing a white hoodie like that?
Oh, with a long, with the long.
He's like, you mean the one I'm wearing?
I love Moroccan style.
I think you missed the whole point.
They have like this long one, yes. Look, you need to understand where you are when you dress.
Exactly.
I love the Moroccan, but imagine completely white with a pointed hood.
Yeah, my one's got like
for
just
you,
like
you
this.
must be
You're okay.
I'm okay.
You're okay. You got some
No,
stripes
you're good.
on
Don't worry
there.
about it. Mashallah,
They weren't
mashallah.
too stylish back in the day.
So if you don't mind, let's just continue. They told me, the directors told me to, I don't even know where the camera is now, but the directors told me to continue where we left off.
Okay.
So we briefly discussed Arafat, and mashallah, we went to through an emotional roller coaster with our brother right here. It was amazing, mashallah. Barakallahu feek.
I try to keep it.
I can't. It was legendary, mashallah. I bet the people who are watching, I mentioned this before, there, tissues everywhere, crying. They were just, So I want to ask you, what were your experiences with Yom Arafat? What Yom Arafat in that area?
Well,
the images. Sorry. What are the images you saw?
MashaAllah. I see Muslims from every single walk of life, from every single country, all gathered on there asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything that they wanted. And it's interesting because, this is the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes down during the daytime to the lowest samawat, and He answers the dua of the Muslims. And it's interesting because everybody had their children there, everybody had their wives there, everybody had their whole families, and they were all sitting there out on the plain of Arafat and up onto the mountain, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the Muslims around the world. And this is one of the things, especially on social media, we see a lot of things on social media where Muslims are very critical of other Muslims and saying, why don't we care about Syria? Why don't we care about Yemen?
Wow.
Why don't we care about these places?
Thank you for bringing this up.
And it's amazing that, I just seen the tears flowing because of these images that were stuck in our heads of these children and these women and these old people that are going through this boom, this oppression. And I really
do care.
And I really saw the Muslims come together that day and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it wasn't just for themselves. You could tell this was about something that was much deeper. And that was beautiful, some of the images that were coming out of there on the plane. I know myself, coming from an American background, there's a rise of Islamophobia. There was a masjid that was burnt down in Florida today.
Oh,
today?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it happened. Sheikh Hashim Shibli is here. He's actually here in Hajj. And
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help. We have to make a quick dua, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help those who got injured. Hopefully, we pray that there were no severe casualties.
I don't think there was any injuries. I don't know yet, but I do know that the building was a total loss. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually replace it with something that is better. But there is a big problem with some of this rhetoric that is coming out of the United States with Trump and Hillary and this whole presidential election.
Definitely.
And it's inflaming a lot of Islamophobia, not just in America, but around the world. And so it's a sad case, but I mean, myself, I mean, I was making dua on Arafat that, oh Allah, give us some kind of relief from this, okay? Because this is not just affecting American Muslims, it's affecting globally a lot of the Muslims that are around the globe.
In Europe.
We can look at Europe, we can look at France, we can look at South Africa, we can look at many different places in that Muslims are going through a hard time just because of these media images that keep on being put out there.
Definitely.
So, you know, and it was amazing that, you know, I get back after we get off the planes of Arafat and we end up in Hudatv. And alhamdulillah, our organizers had us the first ones there. I was like going, no, nobody's here in Hudatv. Said, mashallah. So we go set up camp, and you know, I look at my feed and it says that Hillary Clinton was at the 9/11 memorial and she gets taken away to the hospital. I said, subhanallah, we're making dua. I said, you know, this is, you know, and she's claiming, and she's complaining of being overheated.
Wow.
And I'm like thinking, we're out here in the middle of the sun in Saudi Arabia, and we're sitting here crying and out of joy, not gonna overheat.
Wow.
And I do have to give a shout out to actually all of, I'm sorry, I got to give a shout
I was hoping Hillary Clinton, but okay.
No, I got to give a shout out to all of the Saudi security personnel and the wonderful job that they did to take care of the Hujjaj and Hajj this year. I mean, really, that has been the story that I've been seeing all over social media.
Exactly. I read your Facebook feed. I was going to say, and I noticed that as well, and I actually put that up there as well, that I have never in my life seen so much free food and snacks being given away. Trucks, 18-wheeler trucks open with 20, 30, 40 skids of just water, cold water, you know, juice, snacks, ice cream trucks giving out free ice cream. You know what I mean?
Ice cream? I didn't get any.
Yeah, Saudi,
you can walk around, that's why.
Saudi on the plains of the Arafat had 3 or 4 trucks just handing out ice cream, and there was lines outside of the ice cream trucks. Wow. It was like,
they were like security officials with, they were taking like, water bottles
and they
squeezing them, pop holes in the bottom, and then just
spraying them,
spraying people.
That's true.
Right?
That is one of my favorite things about walking around. Just being showered with water from the military personnel, police officers, and some people that just did this. And for me, something I noticed about this is, you know, you can tell the difference between someone that's instructed to do something
and someone loves it,
and someone who is enjoying what they're doing and, you know, really part of the experience. And many of those, you know, those officials, you could see they wanted to be doing that. And it was sincere, you know? Sincerely helping and being part of the whole experience. That for me was...
well, one other thing is, long story short, something happened.
Make it long, please.
No, we don't have that much time. Something happened in Arafah on the way out, and unfortunately, my group left me. So I had to walk to Muzdalifah.
No, we didn't leave you. You disappeared.
Again,
that's why he's saying it's a long story.
I said it's a long story.
He doesn't want you to respond.
I want this. They need conflict back at home.
I sent you a message saying
you weren't answering your phone.
I sent you a message
your phone.
saying,
it's reality.
Please come back to the bus.
Listen.
Before
the sun sets.
Thank you. Jazakallah khairah.
I sent him.
I didn't say it was their fault.
Who walks away like minutes before we actually?
I did not say it was their fault. I just said the bus left. Do you agree that the bus left?
Yes, the bus.
Khalas, that's all I said.
What we were.
Okay,
that's
so
true.
the bus left.
Ideally,
and I found myself walking to Muzdalifah. Have you walked that walk before?
Mashallah.
It's roughly 7 kilometers.
You probably made it quicker than the buses.
I did beat some buses, I think. Yeah, but
because our bus took 2 hours and we were the first one there.
It took me 3 hours. It took me 3 hours to get there.
2 hours?
2 hours and we were the first one there.
It took me 3 hours. So when I was
walking,
not
that far.
Yeah, when I was walking, I thought I was going to be with a few hundred people. There were ahead of me, I don't know, tens of thousands in front of me, tens of thousands behind me, and I was just on one of the 3 paths or 4 paths, right? And again, they had those trucks that were open, giving out free food. Many bathrooms on the way. You know, it was just unbelievable. And they had those sprinklers as well, sprinkling water.
The planning that the government actually did for this Hajj was just amazing.
Exactly.
And I mean, I have nothing but, you know, praise for the government and what they did to make Hajj enjoyable for all of the Hujjaj this year.
Exactly.
And I'm telling you, I don't think anybody else could have done this good of a job. They've gotten much better at it over the years. They've fixed a lot of the problems that were in there, and I think that they're starting to take some of the feedback from some of the Hujjaj that have done this in the past, and they really are trying to go ahead and make this a wonderful experience for everyone. And in fact, King Salman himself was sitting there and flying overhead to make sure that everything.
Was that him in the
That was him in the helicopter.
I
was like,
I
was like, why is this helicopter flying over all day long? And then I saw the pictures of him sitting there and pointing, and I was like, mashallah.
So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preserve people who are working hard, preserve the Mamlaka al-Arabiya Saudiya, to protect them, to give them more power, to give them more strength to continue with this. They're doing this. They plan. We were talking about this last night. You were here. They plan for the next Hajj, one Hajj before, and the whole year they spent working on that. The whole year you have people that are just working for Hajj. And that's pretty amazing. I just want to touch base on, you mentioned what's interesting about Hajj when you went to Arafat. You said that there are families involved. And what me and our brother Nur were mentioning was that we compared Hajj to Tahajjud. Tahajjud prayer at night. So what's interesting, we compared and contrasted. So in Tahajjud, usually, the ideal moment is you're all by yourself at night. Your family, your children, your parents, everyone's asleep. You're all by yourself between you and Lord. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then we mentioned that he mentioned, Brother Nur, and I also mentioned that the dua you make on Arafah has the same emotion, as part of the same emotion that you do in Tahajjud when you're all alone. But you added the families are there too. So it's combining two different worlds, spiritual worlds that we have within Islam, and you get this amazing holistic feeling of Islam, and Hajj combines.
And also, you mentioned Allah coming down to the lowest heaven. It was mentioned explicitly in the hadith. In Arafah, and likewise in the last third of the night.
For Tahajjud.
Oh, I didn't make that connection. Wow.
Allah is also.
Allahu Akbar.
You need to add. Actually, you need to take this and expand it, because it's really an interesting reflection on these types of worship and how the Hajj and Arafah specifically takes all of the best of all the acts of worship that we engage in and condenses it into a special moment. And that's why it's such an amazing experience, that time in Arafah.
So for the people back at home, they're celebrating Eid. And when I was younger, I'm gonna reveal something that's really terrible. But when I was younger, I used to say, "Oh, I feel bad for the people during Hajj," because kids, they don't know that much. Alaikum salam. Hola, ¿cómo está usted? Bien.
Brother Juan.
Bienvenidos.
Assalamu alaikum.
Bienvenidos. So, I mean, I stopped at the most sensitive time. I bet PDFs are being written on me right now. But as a kid, I used to think, the people doing Hajj, I feel bad. They don't get to have cake. They don't get to have fun that we have in Eid, right? But what's interesting is that the people who are doing Hajj, they have a totally different experience, like you mentioned. And he mentioned this very brilliantly. He said, like, it's spiritual cleansing. It's like you completely clean yourself. There is the tiredness involved, kind of like a workout or yoga or anything. There's the tiredness, but it makes you feel good about it. You feel relaxed. You feel re-energized, revitalized. So I want to get our Spanish brother into the conversation. So Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
Hajj Mubarak. So you're a new Muslim, mashallah, right?
Yes.
For how many years now?
No, not so. I mean, from 2005 actually.
2005,
So, Juan, is your microphone on?
Yeah, it's on.
It's on?
Yeah, I'm not getting any message from the director, so you're good.
You can see the big hand come and grab him and pull him out and switch it on.
The big hand? Oh my God, just
no, that's not the bad. That's something
taken
else.
out
That is low.
3-4 times. So
that's not something else.
We all talked about Arafah, the day of Arafah, right? How did the experience go on Arafah? Everyone had their own image that they had in their mind. You, as someone who came from Spain, right? So you're going to have a really unique perspective. Could you tell us, the audience back home and us sitting here, what was your take on Yom Arafah? Granted, our bus was different and we didn't get to go out that much. Alhamdulillah, we had a great experience. Granted that situation, Yom Arafah, Muzdalifah, just holistic. What did you feel in Hajj that you think is unique, a unique feeling that you had?
I mean, actually, I perform Umrah several times, but I don't think it's. You can compare it, but I think it's a different experience.
Definitely.
I mean the feeling of like brotherhood, solidarity, union, and Muslims, and sharing the feeling of of having the closest relation they can have with Allah. No?
That's true. Beautiful, beautiful.
And you know, and you can feel it every single step you are doing around Arafah. You see people helping each other, praying, answering, even spoiling water to the people.
Yeah, we were all mentioning that. It was beautiful.
Even the police.
Definitely. So one thing I noticed, which I'm going to say live, and that is, and I probably shouldn't, but it's okay.
Then don't.
I will anyway.
Then don't. No.
Dude, they're getting bored. It's Eid. Let them have a little fun. So anyway, so the thing is that you, mashallah, when you were with us the whole time, you were always one of the first ones to get up, to do wudu, to go pray Fajr, no matter how tired you were. We were actually, we were, right next to each other, so I know how that was. We're all, So the thing is that you, mashallah, you had that strength, you got up, you did all of these things. You had a strength and a power that a lot of born Muslims like myself don't have, And alhamdulillah, when I saw that, it's just like, I was like, damn, I was born Muslim, raised Muslim. I was in this ni'mah my whole life, and I don't have that. I don't have that zeal, exactly. And I was like, no, I really need to work on myself, because subhanAllah, like he became Muslim in 2005, and it was amazing. So that energy that you got, where did you get it from?
It's surprising, no? Sometimes, you feel tired, but at the same time, you feel rewarded, and that you are getting more stronger. From the time you start Hajj, it's a feeling most of the people share, I think.
Definitely.
And so it's a different feeling. It's not, you cannot compare it with any other time.
Definitely. Okay, Jazakallah khair. I want to change things up. If we weren't doing Hajj, if we're celebrating Eid, what would be common things we do in Eid? Fun things, unique things?
Very good.
Starting what?
So I had 150 new Filipino Muslims that we brought to Hajj this year with the Jaliyat.
All men or women as well?
All men.
All men.
Okay, well,
Yeah. So this was some of them, this was their first year in Islam.
Okay.
And so we went through all of the things of Hajj, all of the pillars of Hajj. They had a small little training before, and then we went through the actual process of Hajj. So afterwards, we went and stoned the Jamarat early this morning.
Love it.
And then we went ahead and shaved the head and the sacrifice. And then we come back to our accommodations, and we decided that instead of just having the normal Eid for somebody that goes to Hajj, we would actually throw them the regular Eid party. So what did we do? We decorated balloons and everything, put up Eid things like that. There were candies and competition.
Can we make this a thing?
Yeah, it was fun. They had lots of fun.
I think we should do that here.
They were having a blast.
We got some chocolate. Would you like some? That's all we got.
We could do some chocolate, huh?
And half of it melted.
Half of it melted.
No, but it tastes, it's a very unique liquidy taste when it's melted. It's very pure and amazing.
Don't you like melted chocolate? I love it. when you're very young and your mother's making chocolate cake or something like that, don't you go and stick your finger in the...
I never got chocolate cake.
I did.
No, that's like standard.
He was deprived.
I was surprised.
We'll melt some chocolate for you later and
no, thank you.
Take you through this process.
But seriously, would you like some?
Inshallah. Whatever you'd like to get.
Something that we have, which I'm thinking of now, Eid time in South Africa is, I don't know how many South Africans do this. I know in my Muslim family.
Sorry to interrupt. If there are any South Africans watching, please contact us on social hour. Contact us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't check. I'm sure someone will. And let us know what your Hajj your Eid experiences are. Continue. Sorry.
We have something in the morning, freshly baked bread, which we call gebakte brood.
Say it again.
Gebakte brood, baked bread. Gebakte brood.
Gebakte brood.
Baked Afrikaans.
Can you try saying that? Wait, let's get the Spanish person to say something.
To Spanish?
Yeah, say this word.
Gebakte brood.
Gebakte brood.
Okay, so now you find out how Spanish people speak Afrikaans. You're welcome, guys. Okay.
Meat that's cooked and salted. We call it salt vlees.
Okay.
Salted meat, sliced really thin, and put on this freshly baked bread. I want some of that right now.
I want some of that right now. It's not
You're
fair.
just
We have this
describing it all, huh?
for Eid. This is
is
what about Eid?
that you were mentioning before? I think this
Brother
classifies
Brother Jamal is from Minnesota, and he knows what I want.
let's talk about Minnesota.
Some,
What do you guys
Muslims
have?
in
some
Minnesota.
halwa and some biscuit.
Ah, mashallah.
Yeah,
Hit him Eddie, right?
yeah.
Wait, say that
hilabari.
word again? No, the Hilal Ari.
Hilab-
Eddie?
Hilal Ari.
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 Yeah.
Hilal Ari.
What is that?
Hilabari?
Lamb, right?
Goat.
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 Well, he corrected you on your culture.
I don't know, man.
How's it made? Is it like
He probably knows. But,
roasted or?
It has hawaj, which is cumin. It has cilantro. Kapsa, which they call, but kapsa here is a different dish.
Please don't ever compare Saudi food to Somali food.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
Excuse me?
Sorry.
I'm offended.
Oh, I'm not Saudi.
Yeah.
But
See,
I
got
don't know why.
offended.
I don't know. I'm not even Saudi, but I got offended by that.
That's because you like the. You probably just.
I fell in love with
You
this
really
country.
like the
I fell in love with it, and the problem is people don't give enough credit where it's due. People don't know about this country enough. If they had the chance to know this country, they too would fall in love.
It's all right. Alhamdulillah.
This guy, I'm just kidding. No much of it.
But nothing beats the magical triangles.
The
Magical triangles.
Sambosa,
Yeah.
the samosas?
Oh, here?
No.
No, the Somali ones.
Somali ones.
Ah, okay, okay.
I prefer Punjabi ones.
What's
Oh,
inside?
Punjabi.
Punjabi
I meant to say
vegetables.
Punjabi. Punjabi
Okay,
represent.
so ground beef, cilantro, cumin, and hot spice.
Is it very spicy?
Yeah, it depends on who makes it.
Okay. Yes.
Anyhow,
We have those as well.
I always, for non-Muslims, I would go ahead and make up a batch of these, like 20 or 30 of them, and I go take it and sit it on the table and say, go ahead and help yourself. Wow. And I used to call it dawah through your stomach.
Yeah, stomach dawah.
Because really, because all they would be talking about, man, those triangles, wow, they're just wonderful. And so it opens, I use them as conversation icebreakers, and it's kind of interesting.
mashallah.
This reminds me, speaking of samosa, there was, in 6th grade, there was these Hindu parents who, I didn't say the joke yet.
Okay, I mean, this sounds like, this kind of joke and this kind of joke.
No, I won't, I promise.
Okay.
I'm live, so I can't. But anyway, so the point is that there were these Hindu parents that came to talk about their culture with their daughter. She was in the same class as us. So they gave out samosas, kind of like what you're saying, right? And so they wrote the word, because the kids were asking, what's this? So they ended up writing on the board, because they had trouble pronouncing samosa, because it's like such a hard word. So, for Long Islanders at least. So they wrote it down on the board, and the teacher, I don't know for what reason, never ended up erasing it. So literally, and I used to see it every time, because I'm Pakistani, so I know the same words. We have pretty similar culture to the Indians. Minus, alhamdulillah, our religion is very different. But the thing is, I used to see that word and I'd just be quiet. And then I'd be like, sometimes I'd be like, should I tell the teacher? No. And because I'm just one of the students. And finally one day a kid raised his hand and said, what's sambusa? And then what happened, the teacher said, I don't know.
The teacher even said
and I was quiet, because I knew that this would be...
You're labeling yourself.
Expose you.
Yeah, no, anyway, that's one thing, okay. I guess if you want to really insult me, because it's roast day, I don't know if he told you he's roasting me all day today.
Oh,
but you could say I had an inferiority
so
complex
it's comedy day.
of being brown. Inferiority complex of being brown. I'm kidding, that's not true.
Yeah.
But more so that I was thinking that if they remember what they were samosa, they'll connect to Hinduism, and I was too tired. I was like, khalas.
The thing about sambusas is my whole life I was told sambusas are Somali. And then one day I found out.
Everyone claims.
I found out and I told my dad, I was like, Dad, this is Indian. It's not Somali. He's like, yeah, but we made it better.
I was
like, look at that. This is the only thing you'll find in every culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some kind of deep fried pastry with either cheese, meat, or potatoes.
You're right.
Yes.
You'll find it in every single culture.
Wow.
If you go to Russia, it's amazing. It goes across boundaries.
Do you know any Spanish?
Something similar we have.
There's lots of them.
Empanadas.
Empanadas, yes.
Nice.
Is it triangle or is it square? Because it has to be triangle.
No, it doesn't have to be triangle. Anything made with the wrappings and
No, the triangle ones. Come on.
It's easier to bite. It's easier to bite.
The shape makes it's engineering.
In
now.
Spain is more like a triangle.
Engineered food specifically for your mouth.
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly what it is.
Even it's the same shape.
Same shape. Oh, it's a triangle. Okay, good. So we got
That's
that.
the ideal shape.
But bigger.
But bigger.
That's amazing.
I
what
So the
was it?
size make a difference?
I wouldn't mind.
As long as it's a triangle
Otherwise,
shape?
the corners of your lips are going to be,
You're not supposed to shove the whole
You know
thing
that,
in
you
your
know
mouth.
that reminds me of? That reminds me of the commercial for Hardee's here in Saudi Arabia, where they got the Frisco Tower. It's like this big, right? And so the guy's sitting there and trying to stretch open his mouth so he could go ahead and take a bite of this sandwich. And so I'm thinking about that with your triangle sambusa. That's
like
like
the sideways.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I was told samosas are Somali. I was told chapati is Somali as well.
Chapati?
Yeah, yeah.
Non-chapati?
Yeah, and I told my dad, I was like,
Are
this
you
is Indian.
No.
Serious?
He's like, yeah, you're
It's
right.
very...
You were lied to. Not lied, okay.
That's like Americans
Story was
saying
fun.
we invented the hamburger and French fries.
Yeah, that's true. Just forget the French.
Legend says hamburgers come from Hamburg in Germany. A lot of my Saudi friends ask me, is there ham? Is hamburger haram? Is it pork? Ham, yes, there's ham in the word.
Yeah.
Not in the...
What do you guys have in Spain for Eid?
For the Eid.
Like a special kind of food?
Well, you've been Muslim in Saudi
It's
Arabia.
Moroccans.
most of the
Yeah,
time.
but...
He hasn't gotten the chance to.
No, it's mostly Moroccans, right?
Probably a lot of
Yeah,
Moroccans
but
in Northern Africa.
they have a lot of influence on the Moroccan cuisine and, from the Maghreb in general.
Okay.
How many indigenous Spanish people from Spain are there that are Muslim?
It's difficult to tell that. I didn't find so many statistics about it, but the total amount for Muslims, I heard like a new figures. I think I made a mistake the other day.
Yeah.
It's 2 millions.
2 million?
Almost 2 millions.
That's good.
Most of them were born Muslims, coming from.
So are there any like traditional dishes that are halal that you would share like at an Eid, like with your friends and stuff? Because I know Spain's got some wonderful food, so some different things. And there's a lot of influence from the early Arab influence into Spain too.
Yeah, but of course there are things you can find samosas, but you can find more like the cuisine from Morocco. No?
Ah, okay.
Moroccan dishes and from northern Africa.
Not too in particularly. You can.
Let me find a muezzin for us. Okay, you guys can
Okay, so we're gonna do
The
that.
big, Thierry, yes, the big hand is about to come.
Yeah. Okay, so they want me to...
I think you're going to call the adhan.
Yeah.
See, you've been nominated.
I've been nominated. Oh, okay.